welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I was looking very washed out, so I've put some lipstick on and it's transformed the whole look. Welcome to today's video. It's one of my... How often do I start videos by saying, this is one of my favourite videos to film? But I do look forward to filming this. I think because I only film it once a year, this does qualify for one of my favourite videos to film. And it's my 10 goals in 10 months video, which is something that I've been doing for a good long while now, guys, a good long while, whereby I don't think about New Year's resolutions at the top of the year, because January is for me about new starts and also about resting, because December's always quite busy for me. So I don't feel like I've got much, well, it's weird because I haven't got much get up and go because I'm resting and I want to be cozy, but also like it's a new year and I'm excited about starting a new notebook and thinking about the films I'm going to watch and what books I'm going to read and stuff like that. So no to New Year's resolutions, but yes to 10 goals from May to the March to the end of the year, which is basically a goal per month. Now, I don't tick off the goals per month because a lot of them are sort of like ongoing goals, particularly this year. But it's a nice round number, isn't it? Just let me have it. Just let me have that nice round number. So, welcome to me checking in on last year's 10 goals for 10 months and me revealing my 10 goals for the 10 months remaining in this year, which we're already into March already. Would love to hear down below your goals for this year, if you had any goals for last year. If you like the sound of any of my goals and you think, yeah, I might do that and all, then let me know, because I want to talk about goals. I'm here to talk about goals. So last year, 10 goals I completed. So the year before, 2023, I completed 6.5. Last year, 2024, 1, 2, 7. Things can only get better, so she's gone up. And 6.5, I was saying at the top of that video that that's the best I've ever done before. So 7 is also the best I've ever done before. It starts bad because I don't achieve any of the first 3, but from then on, the last 7 I do achieve. So let me talk through them because some of these might inspire you to do a goal. So the first one was watch 1 film at home and 1 film at the cinema every week. And this was a pledge to my husband, because my husband loves watching films, and I pledged to him that every week I would watch a film at home and a film at the cinema. And even when I'm filming the video last year, I've already missed a week at the cinema because there was nothing on that we wanted to watch. So we didn't achieve that, and then there goes weeks where we won't watch any films at all because there's nothing on at the cinema, or we're really into a TV series, or we're not here, or whatever. So we didn't achieve that, but that's fine. I still watched 100 films last year, which I'm very, very pleased about. I think that's a great number. So essentially, I watched over 100 films. So essentially, I watched 2 films every week last year. So very pleased about that, but did not achieve my pledge to my husband of a film at home and a film at the cinema. But may I just flip it on my husband and also say he did not achieve his pledge of reading a book a month last year either. So we've both... Pardon?
This isn't a video about me.
We cancelled each other out, so it's all fun. The next one was I wanted to do a live show on my YouTube channel every month. I don't think I did any live shows past the live shows that I did when I was talking about in the video. So in the video I was like, I've just done 2 live shows. I've done the long list for the Women's Prize, for non-fiction and fiction. I did a live show for each of those, and it was really, really fun. And everything I'm saying in that video I completely stand by, because yes, it's lovely to have that immediacy and to have a chat about things, and it is very exciting, but I just didn't have to get up and go. And I had so many wonderful ideas. Like, I wanted to do a baking video where I could tell everyone what we're going to be baking and everyone can get everything together at the same time and we can all bake together. Sort of like, I'm going back to my COVID days. And then there was other ones about like doing a bit of a clean or making a gift or doing some cross stitch or whatever. But I didn't do any of them. So that's fine. Why didn't I do any of them? Should we look into it? Just finding the time, I guess, maybe, to do that. Yeah, maybe that's why. But I would like to do that. I do enjoy doing the live shows, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I do a live show every month, and I mentioned this last year as well, for my Patreon book club, which is always such wonderful vibes. So yeah, I didn't do it. It's not going on this year. Then the last one I failed before the glory of all 7 of the last ones that I've done was Couch to 5k. I mentioned that I wanted to do Couch to 5k. I can't even remember if I ever went out and did a run last year during Couch to 5k. I can't remember. I cannot remember at all. So no, I did not complete that. I didn't complete it at all. I can't even remember going for a run at all. So there we go. Those 3 failures. But hey, It's going well from now on. So my big achievement of last year was that last year I wanted to wear 366 different outfits in a year without buying anything new from my wardrobe. Now, I've ticked this off for myself. There are some caveats because I didn't do exactly that, but I've ticked this off because what an achievement. Last year, I managed to wear something different every single day. My poor husband had to take a photo of me basically every single day, or a little video of me. We put it all on an Instagram account, which was called Lauren.andthelooks. I haven't even had a look at that since the 1st of January. And I wore a different outfit every single day, apart from one day where I wore the same outfit twice, months apart. I've got this green Levi's t-shirt, which is lovely. It's got buttons down, and I've got a pair of wide leg jeans, and I wore that twice. However, I did have a different belt on, so people were letting me off because of that. So that's my first caveat of like how I didn't fully achieve it, but I'm giving myself a big tick for it because my God, it took some effort. And then the next thing was that I said I wouldn't buy myself any new clothes, and well, what happened is that about this time last year, I saw this skirt that I wanted in Tesco so much, and I could see all the different ways that I could wear it with different things. It was a black and white sort of sateen maxi skirt. I still wear it loads. I was going to say I've got it on today. I haven't. I wore it last week. And it goes with jumpers, it goes with t-shirts, and I agonised over it. It was £12, and then it was like something like, no, it was £16, and then it was 25% off. So I got it for £12. And yeah, I ended up buying it because I knew I could make so much use out of it. But I was still proud of myself in that I didn't just automatically buy it. When I was at the height of my spending in terrible ways, supermarket clothing used to be my nemesis, because I would go in the supermarket basically every day because David and I were terrible at planning meals and things like that. And when I was in there, I'd buy a pair of shoes, I'd buy a dress, I'd buy this, I'd buy that. Nothing of which would ever be returned. It would always just all belong to me. So yeah, to leave it as it was, to go away from it, and then to come back another day, and on that day it'd be 25% off. I felt very pleased with myself. And then another thing that happened was towards the end of the year, it's my birthday, and I'd sort of planned to be like, oh, I don't want any clothes for my birthday, guys, so that I wouldn't get any new clothes. But people bought me clothes for my birthday, which was lovely. And also I didn't really want to be like, don't buy me this for my birthday. So I got new clothes for the birthday. So there was new things coming into my wardrobe in the case of, oh, and I've got one more. So the skirt, things that I got for my birthday. And then also I left my job last year and started a new job. And when I left, the people that I worked with did a collection and incredibly kindly got me a £200 John Lewis voucher. And I used that to buy myself a beige classic trench coat, which is something that I have wanted forever. I had a Miss Selfridge one when I was at uni, and I wore it to absolute death. Like the actual buckle, which was plastic, had shattered, and I was just tying it around me. And I'd been sort of coveting a beige, like a camel trench coat, that is just so wearable, and you can wear it like all year round, layers underneath, and it's light in the spring and the autumn. And yeah, so I bought that with money that didn't exist. It was gift vouchers. So yeah, those are my caveats. But look, I've given myself a tick for it, so there's no point in me explaining it to you, so I've given myself a tick. The next one was purely baking. So I just said that I wanted to bake more, and I did really well throughout my Friday reading vlogs last year. I used the Sweet Roasting Tin, which is a cookbook by Rukmini Iya. She's an amazing chef, and loads and loads and loads of amazing cookbooks. The green roasting tin is my Bible. And every Friday, majority every Friday, I would cook something out of that Sweet Roasting Tin, and I got really good results. And it really thrilled me, because I'd always considered myself not very good at baking, and it got to the point where like I had favourites in that book. I haven't been cooking from it this year because of later on I will go into more details about what I've been cooking this year. But yeah, there'd be loaf tins that I'd make all the time, and muffins that I'd make all the time. And we did a lot of gifting last year, and would like homemade gifting, and a lot of that was like loaf tins and muffins. And it was so nice to think, oh, it's someone's birthday coming up, I must make muffins for them. And I had a lovely time doing it. So I need to fish that book back out. But yeah, definitely massive tick for that. I did more baking last year than I've ever done in my life. yeah, there we go. Next one was get to know my classical music. Now I've given myself a tick for this because I do think I know more about classical music than I did at the beginning of last year. Now I'm not saying that's loads, it's not loads, but I definitely recognise more. And something that's happened like since the beginning of last year, another change, is that I now actively want to listen to classical music above all other music. So whereas I would have always just stuck on my Kate Nash album from when I was at uni, nowadays it's just straight onto Classic FM, or I've got a classical playlist called Classical Bangers, or if it's David, Classic FM at the movies, he likes that. They do a show and there's a channel of that, a radio station of that. So yeah, that is, and we listen to Classic FM before we go to bed every single night. So yeah, so I'm gonna say I get to know my classical music because I definitely know more than I did. And I did a little bit of, like, I have read 2 books last year on classical music, and yeah, I'm pleased with myself, and it's just my fave. It's my fave. It's weird that it's my fave and I don't know like what they all are, but yeah, it's my absolute fave. I love listening to it in the shower when I'm washing my hair. It just feels so dramatic, but yeah, love that. So tick for that. Next up was a low spend year, and I get a tick for that as well. I did very, very well. A lot of the things that I had planned to do really helped that low spend year. So for example, not buying any new clothes, that really helped. We really got on top of sort of like our meal prep and stuff like that, and using things like Gousto and HelloFresh really helps David and I, because it means we're not going to the supermarket as much. David was amazing. We'll talk about this at the weekend. So David used to go to the Co-op, which is a shop near where we live, and get himself lunch every day, despite him working at home, and would be spending like easily £5 or £6 a day. And he has completely obliterated that. He doesn't go to the Co-op really ever. So he's gone from spending like £25 to £30 a week on lunches to eating the food we've got at home, which sounds so obvious, but when you're so used to going and doing that every day, like, I'm really proud of him. Am. And seeing him do that has made me want to be better with things as well. So yeah, and we've got really good at like taking our own stuff, because I was doing all the baking as well. We'd like take the cakes to the cinema and eat the cinema, and we bought each other, I bought myself, no, I got for my birthday year before last a very good thermos flask, and then I bought David one for Valentine's Day, so then we will both take hot drinks to the cinema, so we don't need to do that anymore. So yeah, there was a lot of little things that we just picked up on, which have just really stayed in with what we do. And yeah, we've very good low spend year last year, very good. The next one was take June off the channel, tick. This was done because I was having a little thing, so the All About the Archers podcast that I do, one of my co-hosts that was doing it was going on holiday for 2 weeks, and she said, oh, should we take 2 weeks off the podcast? And I thought, oh yeah, actually I might take a month off the channel, and because her holiday fell in June, that's why I took that then. And it just happened so wonderfully, because I actually started a new job at the end of May last year, and it was humbling. I'd been working for the NHS for 19 years, so I was very comfortable and settled in my job, and not much could flap me. And then to go from that to doing something completely different, I was flapped for quite some time. So it's really nice and just perfect timing that I didn't have to think about the YouTube channel for the first month of my new job. So I can't say it was a very restful period, because I was stressed with all the new work stuff, and yeah, but it was very nice, and I will be pulling that experience forward this year as another goal this year, so tick for that. And the penultimate one was go green with cleaning, and I would also agree that I've done this. I'm very mindful of what sort of goes everywhere now, particularly because we've got Daphne living in the house with us and we don't want her to get poorly. And I often reach for like white vinegar, that's my go-to, and lemon juice, salt, bicarb and things like that. They're all the things that I clean with, but I also use something called Purdium Fig, which is a pet-friendly spray like that you can clean with, multi-purpose spray, and it's sort of like the focus is on cleaning little and often, so that things don't get dirty, so you don't need these big sort of heavy duty antibacterial things, because you're wiping things down all the time, and those sprays smell so good. So yeah, so I would give myself a tick for that as well. And then the last one was make handmade presents, and you already have heard that Dave and I were doing a lot of baking for presents last year, but we also, both of us David got really into cross stitch, so we also did like a lot of cross stitching presents. On the run up to Christmas, I made all the children I know little initials with like a little Christmas scene next to them. And yeah, I just did really well with handmade presents last year, and it was a real joy to do, and it's something that I would definitely do, but we'll plan more, because on the run up to Christmas, when I was trying to finish 26 individual little tiny cross stitches, I'd gone a bit sort of cross-eyed, and my fingers didn't feel like my own fingers anymore. So yes, there we go, 7 things out of 10. Very pleased with myself, hurrah. But let me talk you through the 10 things that the 10 goals for the rest of this year. So the first one, it is probably the biggest one, and also I'm not going to complete it. So there we go, that's out there. So David and I are aiming for something called 1,000 outside hours. So I started watching a YouTube channel on the run up to Christmas last year, because she was doing Vlogmas. It's called This Little Wonderful Life or something like that. I will share it down below. And she's also got she does a lot of walking. She's got a walking Instagram account, and I've started following that. And one of her videos where she was talking about like the things that she uses for walking, I watched that, and she was talking about this challenge that a walking magazine had set, where basically you'd walk 1,000 miles in a year. And then while she was talking about that, she said there's also a challenge where you can do 1,000 outside hours. And I thought, that sounds bloody wonderful, because David and I really like going outside and being outside and walking, particularly at this sort of time of year. We're sort of much more winter into spring and autumn into winter people in terms of being outside. And I thought it'd be a great encourager to get me and David to go outside. Often when we've both finished work, David works from home a lot of the time, we'll both sort of sit on the sofa and scroll, or I'll read, which is lovely. But like it's nice to say, let's go out for an hour and go for a walk down the beach. And we've been doing these walks, that's coming up as well, so we've been spending more time outside of the weekend, and we both want to be a bit better in the summer this year. So we thought, well, we'll do this encourager of let's try and spend 1,000 outside hours in 2025. However, I didn't find out about this until midway sort of through February, and I thought, oh well, I'll start it in March, because that's when I do my 10 goals for 10 months anyway. And I was talking to someone at work about it, and he was like, you know, that means you've got to do 3 hours and 20 minutes outside every single day from the 1st of March. And I was just like, that's not achievable. I've got a desk job, I can't be able to do that. So we started midway through February in the end, and we know that we're not going to get to 1,000 outside hours. It's just not going to happen for us. However, we're going to give it a go and see where we get with it, and what's the worst that can happen? I'm going to get a little cross at the end of this. Sure, I'm going to. But think of all the lovely experiences we're going to have outside, and the lovely experiences we've already had outside because of this challenge, and because we've been like, oh, let's go for a walk. Like on a Sunday afternoon, we took a really long walk in places where we live where David's never been, and because I grew up around here, I was like, oh, that's the way I used to walk home from school and stuff like that. So just little simple things. We've been having a lovely time with it. So yes, we're aiming for 1,000 outside hours. It's not going to happen. I think so far I've done 35 and a half, and David has done 30, so I've done a little few more, but David's going to catch up because he does work outside when he's filming and stuff. So yeah, there we go, that's the first one. The next one links in, and that is to do some walks out of the Kent 40 Favourite Walks book. So if you've been watching my Friday reading vlogs, and I'll link my most recent Friday reading vlog down below, I have been having a blast in Friday reading vlogs this year. There's not as much reading going on as usual because there's other stuff going on, but I've been having a wonderful time, and it seems like you guys are really enjoying it too, because I've been having some really nice comments from people who have been enjoying watching David and I, and like members of my family and my friends, going out for these walks, and the other stuff that we do. So I bought this book in Margate Bookshop last year on Indie Bookshop Day, and it's got 40 walks in Kent. I live in Kent in southeast England, and yeah, we've been, I say, working our way through them. Like, we're not doing it in any particular order. It's separated into 5 areas. So Sevenoaks and Tunbridge Wells, Swanley to Faversham, Maidstone, Ashford and the Weald, Dover, Folkestone and Romney Marsh, and Canterbury, Margate and Sandwich. So some of these walks are close by to us. Some of these are over an hour's drive away. Kent is quite vast and there's a lot of traffic. So we've just been slowly working our way. So we've done 7 walks so far. We've done Sevenoaks and Knoll Park. That was actually the first walk we did. It's so nice to think back of these, and I've got such vivid memories of them. That was the first walk we did. Me and David did it, and we took tea and biscuits, and David wasn't feeling very well, but he was really brave and he did a very good walk. And then we went to the bookshop afterwards, and we went and had a nice sausage roll and some salads in a cafe. Then Lullingston Country Park, that's the one we did last week, so I've linked the video down below and that will have that there. We did that with my friend Emma, and that was very nice. There was a lot of uphill, and you walk up and see this beautiful viaduct and this beautiful valley, and then you sort of turn your back on that, and then everything was like muddy woodlands from then on. So it wasn't the best in terms of views, but it was still a love. And then we took a packed lunch. That was really nice. Capstan Farm Country Park. That's another one we did with my friend Emma. We did that really early in the morning at the beginning of the year. Might even have been our second walk, and it was really frosty and crunchy underfoot. It was an hour, so it was only a short one. And because it was so crispy and crunchy underfoot, it didn't matter that it was muddy because everything was so frozen. So that was lovely. I'll just talk you through all the walks that I've done, guys. There's only 7. The next one was Edgerton and Pluckley, and that has been our favourite one so far. We did that a couple of weeks back with my parents. That's the longest walk we've done so far. That was 3 hours. It was 11k. And we started in a little village called Edgerton, and then you walk to Pluckley and through another little village called Little Chart. There wasn't much on the roads at all. It was all sort of footpaths and through fields. The views were endlessly beautiful. We had a really nice pub lunch halfway through, and it was beautiful, beautiful weather. It was so bright, and it was perfect for me really, because I was in like a long sleeve t-shirt, but I never felt hot and bothered. There was at one point there was some church ruins which were just gorgeous. Yeah, there was just a lot to look at because there was houses, there was fields, there was views, there was ruins, it was just non-stop like beautiful things to look at. So that was definitely my favourite so far. So if anyone is doing these walks, then I recommend that. Hivetown and Seafront, David and I did that one, and we ate at a place called the Snack Shack. That was very exciting because we didn't know where we were going to eat, and we come across this seafood snack shack and we were like, yeah, we'll eat there. The only thing I will say about that is that walk had a little bit where you double back on yourself, which we don't love. We like sort of like a looping walk, but yeah, that was only a short one as well. That was an hour. It rained a bit and was quite exposed when we were walking along the seafront as well, so we were a bit cold. Then Dungeness, which was also a sort of shorter one. The food, that was the best food. So we went to another place called, the place was called the Lazy Shack. This is called the Snack Shack, and it just did some of the best seafood we'd ever had. I had a cod cheek flatbread with like the best sauces ever. I'm really a sauce girl, and potatoes. Oh, it was fantastic. And then the last one is one that I did with my cousin Laura. That's the Blean and Clowes Wood, and that was really lovely. We took a packed lunch and took Betty, Laura's dog, with us, and yeah, had a lovely, lovely time. So those are the 7 walks we've done so far, and we will continue to do one a week on a Friday reading vlog, or at some point during the Friday reading vlog. So sometimes they extend into Saturday and Sunday. We're doing one this Friday. I'm very much looking forward to it. So yes, I aim to walk through these walks, whether or not we'll complete the whole book. I mean, it would be nice to. It'll be sad because then it'll all be over, but yeah, whether or not we'll do that, but that's that. And then number 3 also links in with Friday reading vlogs. So at the moment I'm cooking like a Friday night dinner, which is very exciting to me, and they're all out of Jamie's 30-minute meals. So before, I used to show off on this YouTube channel, which is over 10 years ago, guys. I used to show off on my Facebook page by picking a Jamie Oliver book and then cooking everything out of it that year. And that was something I did for like 3 or 4 years, and I love doing projects like that because, again, in the same way that I was just recalling my memories from when I did the Kent walks, I was able to sort of like think of a meal and think, oh yeah, that's when so-and-so came around for dinner. Oh yeah, I made that salad and took it to that person's barbecue. Or oh yeah, I made that cake for my dad's birthday. Like those sort of things. Like, I love memories associated with stuff, and it's really nice to have a book and to cook your way through it and to sort of really bond with that book. Now, this is a Jamie Oliver book, probably my least used Jamie Oliver book, 30-minute meals. And guys, they don't take 30 minutes. I'm very good in the kitchen, and like they take me an hour. Like there's no one's doing this in 30 minutes. But there's a lot of fun stuff in here in terms of like meals. So let's have a look. So some of the ones that I've cooked, I won't go through all of them like I've just done there. I mean, maybe I'll do a video on it at the end of the year if people are interested in it. But they'll have like, so for example here, so we've got sticky pan fried scallops with sweet chilli rice, dressed greens and quick brownies. So it often has like a sort of protein with like a couple of sides, and then sometimes it'll have a dessert. In this instance it has brownies. Sometimes it'll have like an exciting drink and things like that. And they're very good crowd pleasers, and I've had a lovely time so far with having people round for dinner. I've had my sister and my brother-in-law and my niece round for the first time we did dinner. My parents have come round. Sometimes it's just been me and David. We've got my nan coming around in a couple of weeks because she really wants a fishy dinner, and we've just been having a lovely time. I'm just going to pick one. Oh, this was the first one we did. And also because I don't eat meat, it's sort of given me an opportunity to sort of show you what you can potentially do if you don't eat meat, and what you might do to replace that. So the first one we ever made, which I still think is my favourite, was this killer jerk chicken with rice and beans, refreshing chopped salad and char grilled corn. And all I did was just took out the chicken and made killer jerk halloumi because I eat halloumi. And yeah, it's been really, really nice to sort of go for this. And also because I've started eating seafood more recently, I was a vegetarian for I think about 8 years, and I've just started eating seafood. I've been using a local business which sources her own, so a female-led business into that, who sources her own seafood and stuff like that, so that's been really nice. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this, and I will continue to do that on the Friday reading vlogs. Friday reading vlogs, they're where you want to be, guys. Next up is have a big but a chill cross stitch project. So I have got exactly that, and I've already started it and I'm doing quite well. So this is sort of like a cross stitch project that will go on all year, and like I say, I was doing a lot of cross stitch last year for birthday presents and things, and at Christmas it got a bit mad. But this, I'll show you what it looks like so far. So I've obviously got, so you can't see this whole thing, but this is going to be a big scene of Pemberley in Pride and Prejudice, and it's also got Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy on it and lots of flowers and stuff. So I've done, this is probably a third of the way down. Maybe not, maybe, yeah, that's probably a third of the way down to this. But obviously I haven't done all the way across because my frame doesn't include all of that. But I'm really pleased with the progress I've made so far. I would just like to have it done by the end of the year. So whether that means I really go for it and get loads done. And I'm sort of updating on my Instagram at the end of every month to show people how I've been getting on. I'll show you what the, I can't show you the pattern. The pattern is from Cross Stitcher magazine, which I swear by, the October last year issue. And this is what the actual finished project looks like. I can't hide my face so you can see it. Yeah, and I've done that much so far. Now I haven't done any finishing off. That will probably be the last thing I do. Go back and go like all around the windows and everything. But I'm having a lovely time doing it. And like I've said before when I've been talking about cross stitching, like I find it that I'm very focused when I'm cross stitching. So if we're watching a film or a TV program, I find that I'm very focused if I'm doing cross stitch whilst that is happening. And yeah, and I'll continue to do that as the year goes on. And as I said, I'm updating sort of every month on Instagram to show you how I'm getting on with that. So yeah, would just like to have that done by the end of the year, but no, like, yeah, just see how it gets on. I mean, probably really by the end of the year, maybe a little bit before the end of the year, because maybe I'd like to do a few Christmassy bits, but yeah, I'm excited about that. The next one is, number 5, is carry on crocheting. So I did a crochet course at the beginning of the year, as well as starting a new job last year after working 19 years in the NHS. Starting crochet, also humbling, because after the first session, and it was like 2.5 hours, I thought, none of us had it. But since then, I've got much better, and I'm very good at granny squares. And more recently, I've just done a series of a massive granny square. Just kept on going, out of some very nice wool that I got from Hobbycraft, which is made from recycled bottles and is super soft. And made a blanket. Made a blanket for my sister's new baby. So that was very exciting. So I'd like to continue doing that, and I've said, like, every year I was like, if you want me to make it bigger, I can make it bigger every year. So this blanket will grow with baby, and I'd like to do a little bit more of that. So the wool that I've become quite attached to, the wool that I bought, so I want to get more of that. So I just need to carry on crocheting, because it doesn't come as naturally to me as cross stitch does, and I don't find myself reaching for it in the same way that I do cross stitch. And also I need to concentrate more, so it's more of an audiobook or classic FM situation rather than a watching something on the telly situation. But I need to carry on, so hopefully when I'm going over this, I would have made more than that one baby blanket. That's what I would like to have achieved. So yeah, I need to get more of that lovely wool though, and they haven't got any of the cream stuff online, so I need to keep an eye out for it. Next up is read a book from a female author from each decade, starting from the 1900s. So this is sort of a recent inspiration of mine. I got targeted on Instagram for a chap whose girlfriend has wrapped him up a book from every decade, ones that he hasn't read, and he's opening them on Instagram on a Sunday, reading it during the week, and then talking about it at the following week. And I was like, that is such a lovely thing to do. Well, my husband, he wouldn't know what books I've read and what books I haven't read, and it would be a lot of work for him. So I thought I would like to do that as a sort of like Instagram project, but I'm going to read a book from a female author from every decade, and some of those might be ones that I've already read because I've already picked the books, because I wanted those books to be books on my shelf. I want to read books from my shelf. So once I've got through the sort of like women's prize reading, I'm gonna start doing that. The first book I will be reading, oh, I can't remember. I've written them all down somewhere, but yeah, that'll be happening on Instagram. So yeah, get over to Lauren and the Books on Instagram if you're interested. Next up is log all my reading on Storygraph. So Storygraph is a place where you can log all your reading. There's lots of lovely stats, and I want to log all of my reading on there this year. And I'm having a lovely time doing it, and I've been doing it so far. And then when I've been doing my wrap-ups at the end of the month, I'm sort of alluding to the stats, and I'm looking at like what my most read genres are, or what my most read themes are, and if I'm reading a lot on my e-reader, or if I'm listening a lot, or what sort of length of books are and stuff like that. And it's just a lovely place to log it. It all looks beautiful because it's all in like lovely different colours, and it's nice to have a centralised place where you can go and have a look and track your reading. Because for the past few years I haven't been using Goodreads, I'd been just doing it in a notebook, so it's nice to get it back on a web system as well. So yes, I will continue to do that until the end of the year, hopefully. The next one is read a series in its entirety, and I've got 4 series earmarked for this, all of which involve a little bit of rereading, or maybe a whole lot of rereading, but yeah, we'll see. So first of all, the last book in Juno Dawson's Her Majesty's Royal Coven series comes out this year, and I've been listening, so I've always listened. I read the first one, and then since then I've gone back and listened to the audiobook because they're performed by Nicola Coughlan and they're great. And like I said, the last book in the series, so maybe I will, well, what I've been doing every time there's a new one out, I've been listening to the backlog and then getting and then starting the new one. So yeah, maybe that will happen this year, that I'll listen to all of Her Majesty's Royal Coven. Then I've got I already owned When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit, but Jem bought me for Christmas the 2 other books in that series. So I will have to reread this and then to read these, which are A Small Person Far Away and Bombs on Aunt Dainty. So yeah, that also, I mean, I'm going to want to read all of these if I'm being honest. Then this series is a full reread, but I read this not last year, the year before. This is the Cazalet Chronicles by Elizabeth Jane Howard, and these are a joy. And I think maybe I would like to do this in the same way that I did it the first time round, where I read a book a month on the run up to the last book, which is set sort of at Christmas. They're having like a last Christmas in this house that they've all sort of convened at as the years have gone by. So maybe I'll do December, November, October, September, August. So maybe in August I'll start that again. I had such a good time doing it. And then there's always this, always hanging over me, always want to do it, the Anne of Green Gables series. And again, I've read Anne of Green Gables, but I've never read any of the others. These are surprisingly heavy books for little books. And yeah, would love to read this. I was thinking of doing Anne of Green Mabels and reading Anne of Green Gables books for Anne of Green for that month, which would involve working my way through these. Maybe. I haven't come up with anything else that, because often in the year I do like, I've done like June Eyre and read like Jane Eyre and retellings and books inspired by Jane Eyre and stuff like that. And what did I do last year? Augusta Christie. So yeah, maybe I'll do Anne of Green Mabels. Is that cool? Maybe. So yeah, but I would like to read a series in its entirety. The penultimate one is Enjoy Summer. So as I've alluded to, David and I are not big summer fans, not big heat fans, but I really don't want to be in a position. I wasn't in this position last year because I didn't feel like summer was that hot last year, and the one week it was hot, we were house sitting for my cousin in Whitstable, so we were just off work and just having a lovely time sitting in the shade in the garden or going down the beach and stuff like that. But I really don't want to be in a position, which I usually am in the summer, where I'm literally wishing my life away, looking at temperatures that are 20, let's be realistic, 22 and above, and I'm like, oh, when's it going to be cold again? When's it going to be chilled again? And I don't want to do that. I don't want to look at weather and think, oh, only 2 more weeks and then it might start cooling down or stuff like that. So I'd like to enjoy summer this year. And when I was thinking about that week that I really did enjoy last year, when it was warm and we were in Whitstable, I was trying to think about the things that I was doing at that time that was making me enjoy it. And it was things like taking things slowly and just sort of like getting on with it despite the heat, and eating dinner down the beach, and yeah, sitting in the garden, reading in the shade. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to have my own summer. There will be times when it's too hot and I can't cope, but I will do my very best. So yeah, enjoy summer. And then the last one is one that has appeared on a previous year's goals, and that's support a Kickstarter. I don't know what Kickstarter I want to support, but I was having a chat with one of my friends recently who supports a lot of board game Kickstarters, and he was showing me what he sort of like, how he's done that and things, and I was just thinking, oh, it'd be really cool to do that. And I remember thinking that before when I didn't achieve it before when I did it, but like it would be really cool to have a little look into something that I might have an interest in and support that at its infancy stages, and then see the journey go the whole way. So yeah, that's something else I would like to do. So there we go, 10 goals for this year. Let me know if any of these goals appeal to you. Let me know what your goals for the year are. I would be very, very interested. And yeah, I'll see you all again soon for another booktube video. Goodbye.